Right, before we dive into this absolute corker of a story, do us a favor. Smash that subscribe button and ring the notifications bell because trust me, you'll want to catch every wild twist we cover on UK Informate. Seriously, don't miss out. Now then, picture this. You're King Charles III. You've already got more titles than a Netflix homepage. You're the defender of the faith, sovereign of the Commonwealth realms, and you've spent decades waiting for a job that came with the world's fanciest hat. What could possibly be left to add to your royal CV? Well, how about becoming a royal confrater at one of Christianity's most historically loaded basilicas in Rome? Yes, you heard that right. Our monarch just picked up a new title that sounds like something out of a medieval fantasy novel. And honestly, the story behind it is absolutely brilliant. So what on earth is a royal confrater, you ask? Fair question. It's not exactly something you'd find on a LinkedIn profile, is it? Essentially, it's an honorary title linking King Charles to the Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls in Rome, one of the 4 major papal basilicas. But here's where it gets properly interesting. This isn't just some ceremonial fluff. This title comes loaded with centuries of baggage, hope, and a rather ambitious dream of Christian unity. And let me tell you, when the ceremony went down earlier this year during Charles and Camilla's state visit to the Vatican, it was absolutely dripping with symbolism. The whole affair kicked off when their majesties waltzed through the holy door of the basilica, because naturally, you can't just use the regular entrance when you're royalty, accompanied by Cardinal James Michael Harvey and Abbot Donato Ogliari. Picture the scene. Choirs from Windsor Castle and London belting out Orlando Gibbons' Hosanna to the Son of David, a piece written back when Shakespeare was still scribbling plays. The acoustics alone must have been spine-tingling. They processed down the aisle with all the pomp you'd expect. But underneath the pageantry, something genuinely meaningful was brewing. Now here's where things get deliciously historical. The ties between this particular basilica and England go way, way back, but they hit a proper milestone in 1966 when Pope Paul VI met with the Archbishop of Canterbury, Michael Ramsey. This was massive, people. For the first time since Henry VIII had his royal tantrum and created the Church of England, about 400 years prior, the Catholic and Anglican communions actually sat down for official dialogue. And get this, Paul VI literally took his own episcopal ring and placed it on Ramsey's finger. Talk about a power move. That moment was basically the Vatican saying, right, maybe we can work through this whole Reformation business after all. Fast forward to the present day, and Cardinal Harvey explained that granting Charles this royal confrater title, with the blessing of Pope Leo XIV, is fundamentally a gesture of hope. It's not just welcoming a sovereign, it's welcoming a brother. That word choice matters enormously because it speaks to this larger vision of Christian unity, this idea that maybe, just maybe, the fractures of the past don't have to define the future forever. But wait, there's more brilliance to unpack here. Charles didn't just receive a certificate and a handshake. Oh no, they created an actual throne for him, custom-made for the occasion, emblazoned with a royal coat of arms and bearing a Latin inscription from the Gospel of John, Ut unum sint, that they may be one. This throne now sits permanently in the basilica's apse, waiting for Charles and his heirs to use on future visits. It's essentially a permanent royal parking spot in one of Christianity's most significant churches. How wonderfully extravagant. The ceremony itself was an ecumenical feast, and I mean that in the most reverent way possible. You had the Archbishop of York, the moderator of the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland, the Archbishop of Westminster, all gathered together with Catholic clergy. They sang music from composers who served as gentlemen of the Chapel Royal centuries ago. William Byrd, Henry Purcell, blending England's rich musical heritage with Rome's spiritual gravitas. There was even a cheeky nod to Edward Elgar, a Catholic who served as master of the king's music. The whole production was basically screaming, "Look how much history we share. Can we please stop being weird about the 16th century?" And then came the prayers. Cardinal Vincent Nichols led intercessions that prayed for church leaders worldwide, for rulers of nations, including Charles himself. And here's the kicker, for creation. Because naturally, Charles wouldn't show up anywhere without someone mentioning environmental stewardship. The man spent decades banging on about organic farming and climate change. So having a prayer about protecting creation for future generations? Absolutely on brand. After Abbot Ogliari formally declared the confraternity, invoking the common ecumenical journey, there were signs of peace exchanged, more glorious music performed, including a piece by Palestrina to mark the 500th anniversary of his birth, and then the whole congregation belted out praise to the holiest in the height, text courtesy of Cardinal John Henry Newman, who's about to be proclaimed a doctor of the Church. Even the closing organ solo was loaded with meaning, Elgar's organ sonata in G major, performed with absolute conviction. What makes this entire ceremony so compelling isn't just the ritual magnificence or the historical weight. It's what it represents, a tangible, visible commitment to dialogue across denominational lines that have been painfully divided for half a millennium. That throne bearing the inscription that there may be one isn't just decorative furniture. It's a statement, a challenge even, asking whether we can move beyond old grudges and actually talk to each other like grown-ups. So there you have it. King Charles, already drowning in titles and responsibilities, adds royal confrater to the collection. But this one's different. This one whispers of reconciliation, of bridges being built stone by stone, of hope that maybe unity isn't such a far-fetched dream after all. Thanks ever so much for watching, everyone. We'll catch you in the next one.